Hi there YouTube, Mark Verheer here. This actually is a video response to Kevin down the rabbit hole. He asks for some advice. He was offered a sponsorship and he asks us what we think about such a thing. He explains what it is and what it would entitle. And I responded with a very lengthy typed up response. I think I've been typing for over half an hour, perhaps even. And I decided to make it into a video because I actually was faced with actually something very similar. And for me, if I'm presented with some force that wants to influence my channel or wants to use my channel to further their goals, I always ask myself a couple of questions. The first question is, why do you make YouTube videos? You know, are you in it for some financial profit? Are you in it for employment? Are you in it for financial gain? Why do you make videos? The other question is, what is the goal of your channel? Basically, you know, it's a very similar question. Are you in it to become a star? Are you in it to make it your job, or are you in it to have it be your hobby? 3, if you're another question that you can ponder is, what is your first gut feeling when you are confronted by such a question? Does your heart leap up and you think, hey, wow, that's a great idea? Or do you have all sorts of complex thoughts or feelings and you know, that you don't really, that you're not like very enthused and that it's like a complex thing that you have to deal with? Oh, and if you do hear a fan, my PlayStation 5 fan is actually operating at the moment. Finished my Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola actually, Pepsi-Cola lemon. A fourth question is, where does this question, where does this offer come from? I mean, what type of, how did it arrive at your address, and how did it happen? What's in it for them, and what's in it for you? You know, like, you know, how it happens, what you think about it, and what's in it for you. Another question is 5, would it change things for you? You know, would it change things for you personally? Would it change things for you regarding your channel? Would it change the content of your channel? You know, it's like a thing that's actually number 6. Would it change the content of your channel? And number 7 is, if you do decide, you know, to make a deal with some entity providing you with a service or goods or whatever, if you think it's good for you, let it be completely on your terms. You know, like you are the one owning your channel, and make sure that it's on your terms and not on their terms, because or you give away certain rights or something. You know, it's like, so the situation, and that's why I wrote this elaborate response, is actually that I didn't get offered, actually very recently, I didn't get offered a sponsorship, but perhaps the beginning of a tech review relationship. I mean, I have done tech reviews in the past. You know, I've reviewed Android gaming handhelds. I've reviewed tablets. I've reviewed clone consoles, videos, but also written articles on various websites. And I stopped doing that because I'm my interests are very broad, and I didn't feel very comfortable just doing that, you know, becoming a tech review channel. I mean, those videos, they're actually pretty popular. I mean, if I make videos about emulation, Android, Linux, those videos are actually crazy popular and get a ton of views, but it's not something that I want to devote my channel to solely. It's just I'm all over the place, so I just want to be able to choose my topics that I want to talk about and not have it being dictated or chosen or influenced by some force that I do not control, or has a say in what I do, what I make. So yeah, I think Kevin, I think my channel might not be as eclectic as yours, because you are really all over the place, which I just absolutely love. I mean, Obi-Wan with what is it, the crochet beard, cosplay, testing devices. But that's the thing, you buy the devices yourself because you're interested in the device and what it does. And I think that's what I mostly did with the consoles and stuff that I reviewed. I often bought them myself, and sometimes I got them. But yeah, it's I think there's a difference, if you buy the things with your own funds and out of your own interests, then it's more objective. I think it's not something like you get something and they want something in return, and by you having to give something in return, that may be tainted. But that's my situation, because giving something in return, well, I'll explain. t-bao. t-bao is a Chinese manufacturer of OEM PCs, and they also have their own product line. It's a Chinese PC electronics firm, and they wanted some feedback on a mini PC, and that mini PC is a mini PC that's Android based, so not an Intel NUC, but an AMD Ryzen 5 based mini PC with Vega graphics. And they also said, well, if it goes well, we want you to do more reviews. So they actually asked me to do a review on a regular basis, or do reviews on a regular basis. And they would send me the machine. I would get to keep the machine. They wanted me to look at particular things, and they wanted me to fill out a complete questionnaire with a lot of questions about me using the machine, other people in my family using the machine, the makeup of my family, how much I earned, basically like market research. It's like they were researching the market. A Chinese firm, basically, I think it was like marketing research, and I was a potential client in an area that they wanted to have, some more information on, and as a thanks, I would be sent the PC. So they wanted all hints and tips and stuff. They also said, well, if you do make videos, make them unlisted. You do not necessarily have to make a product placement or a product endorsement or a full review. But if you have certain things that you think that would be best shown with a video, by all means, make them, send them our way, make the links, but make them unlisted and stuff. And yeah, so that's what they told me. So they basically asked me some feedback, and I got to keep a machine, which basically makes the feedback less objective, I guess. So yeah, that's the thing. So they didn't seem to be interested in making a review, but they wanted information from me. And well, I like getting stuff that I'm interested in. I like small form factor PCs. I like systems that have limitations, and I like optimization. I like to optimize their functions, squeeze performance out of the limited amount of resources, and yeah, I'm not so keen on running the highest end machines and models. So I guess my dilemma is perhaps very similar to yours, Kevin. And the answers to the questions I talked about earlier, and I'll show you the PC because I ended up receiving it. So this is the system, and it looks very similar to an Intel NUC. Probably has the same dimensions. And I did do a review on B-Link mini PCs as well, and yeah, I mean, your dilemma really made me think about product placements and can you be objective if you actually receive a thing. And I think if you do it for a hobby, then it actually might be very different than if you do it for as a corporation, as a job, as an entity that also wants to make profit. It's like the exchange of goods and services, and that's something else entirely than a personal YouTube channel that you do for fun. But this is the system, and it's a Ryzen. It's t-bao, and I'm not sure if you can see. I guess that's, yeah. So it's a Ryzen 5 system. It has Vega 8 graphics. It comes with a 256 gigabytes SSD, and M2 NVMe SSD, and 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which comes in 2 sticks or 4 that you can change. So yeah, very interesting system. Yeah, and it came in this box. So why do you make YouTube videos? Well, I make YouTube videos for fun. I like to share, and I like to find out what people think. I like the feedback. I like the interaction. I don't have my channel to one day make it into my job. There's a lot of people that have these aspirations, but I just don't. I joined YouTube initially because I was writing for a website and doing some reviews and stuff, and it was a retro gaming website, Armchair Arcade, and I needed a place to host some gameplay videos. Well, YouTube, and that's why I started. I uploaded some stuff, and basically YouTube actually was a place to share some of my photos and private videos and stuff, personal stuff. And then I discovered this retro gaming YouTube community, and it was just for sharing the hobby. It was a social media platform. It was just me, instead of only making videos as a post and having responses to that. So yeah, that's why I have a YouTube channel, and I do not want to make that into my job ever. So yeah. The second question is, what is the goal for your channel? To have fun with my channel, to experience how it changes. I've started out with very few subscribers, and over the years it has grown. I actually had to start a new channel, so basically what I'm up to now is like 1,000 subs more than what I had when I had to restart. So yeah, in a way, if you compare me to the peers that I started out with, a lot of them actually have a number of subscribers that I probably would have had if I hadn't had to start all over again. But that's fine. I actually liked having to start over my channel because I got to experience starting a channel and see it grow and stuff all over again. Of course, not the same, because a lot of my older subscribers, they came over as well. But yeah, I like my channel for the fun, for the hobby. So what was my first gut feeling? My gut feeling when I got offered this, and immediately I thought, I don't want to make any concessions regarding my channel, regarding my content, and I do not ever want my channel to resemble anything professional, you know, with ads and like a TV show, or like a media production that has been created with the purpose of growth, earning money, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that was my gut feeling, and I do not want any corporate influence or entity outside than my own to influence my channel. So yeah, that was my gut feeling. And 4, where does this come from? What is in it for them, and what's in it for you? So they asked me because they told me that they saw me commenting on some tech videos, some reviews of their products or products of their competitors. They noticed me. They noticed the cow. They noticed my responses. They noticed that I was active, that I had something to say. And they knew I was from the Netherlands, and they actually watched some of my review videos, liked those, and they actually told me that they weren't looking for a product review video, but they were interested in my opinion, which is quite weird actually. They said they wanted to have my opinion as a knowledgeable consumer, and that I come from a different market, Europe, and that's a different one compared to theirs. Theirs is Asian, Chinese, and so I guess they wanted to do some market research, and they were willing to throw in the PC as a thank you. What's in it for me? Well, getting to keep the items that they sent me. I mean, yeah, and who wouldn't want a small form factor PC, I'm not obligated to make any videos, or actually, I'm not obligated to do anything with my channel. I just get the product, and, you guys, I wouldn't have to do a single thing, that I'm talking about it right now is already something, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't have to do a single thing other than provide them with information, questionnaire and stuff. What really made my spider sense tingle a bit is that they did say, well, if you do make videos, make them unlisted, and but they said, well, but those are my videos. You can't use those things that I sent you in any commercial, anything. They couldn't agree to that. They said, well, if you do send us videos, they wanted to be able to do stuff with it. So I'm not sending them any videos. But still, they said, well, we want to send you the PC, and we want you to fill out the questionnaire, and we want your input. And they asked a ton of questions. They asked income questions, household questions, demographic questions, regions where I lived, job that I have, and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, a Chinese company asking you a lot of those things, that they know your address. Yeah, that's a bit of a thing. Do you want to do that? So I actually used the post box. Let me see. So, what's in it for you? Well, that I told. 5. Would it change things for you? Well, if it would have to be featured on my channel, it would make things more complicated. It it would influence how I do things on my channel. I mean, if it is a sponsorship and stuff, you know, like, I mean, the only sponsorship things that I really like is Linus Tech Tips, how Linus actually promotes his own swag, you know, and the way he actually promotes the sponsors. I think that's actually quite funny as well. But yeah, I just don't want to be a channel like that, nor that I could ever be. But yeah, it's, I mean, it's their job, and you know, if you make a magazine, there's ads in it. If you make a TV program, there's ads around. You know, it's fine. I mean, my YouTube channel does have ads, because often there's copyrighted material in them in there and stuff. And I have monetization on my channel, but I don't earn this. I don't earn a lot, and it's just like, it's interesting to see what happens. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I could, if it was more of a hassle than a small bonus, I would just instantly turn it off. So, you know, and then 6, would it change the content of your channel? I think it's hard. I mean, if you do become this person that gets sent items and they want you to tell things, you know, your opinion about the item, then you become this review puppet. In my opinion, I mean, there's a ton of people that I watch that do a great job, and they try to be as objective as possible. They, you know, they said this is an advertisement, or this is stuff that I didn't buy myself. This was given to me, or I bought this with my own funds. Of course, it's necessary to be as transparent as possible. You know, you have to be transparent. Those are the rules. But I think it probably would if I were to do that on a regular basis. And yeah, I'm not sure if I feel comfortable about doing that. So personally. And 7, if you do think it's good for you, then let it be on your terms. So I told them that I wouldn't make a video in return, not even hidden ones, especially for them. And if I would make a video, I would probably put a watermark all over it, stating and indicating what the purpose of this video was. You know, just all over the place, and just, yeah, make the video basically unusable for them in any other way, shape, or form. But you know, there's not much that I mean, there was no need for me to make a video. So I made sure that they were happy sending the item to a post box, and for me to return the questionnaire in return. And I also said, well, if I'm not comfortable asking certain questions, would it be okay to leave them blank? And of course, I mean, they said yes, but of course, I mean, I could actually keep the unit and not send back the questionnaire. You know, that would be very bad. But I mean, I felt comfortable. You know, it was like, it was on my terms. And of course, if someone gives something to me and I want to know what they think, and I can do it privately, and that's the thing, I could do it privately. I could also do it anonymously in some way, shape, or form. Then yeah, so I got the PC, and I completely wiped it, and I checked the BIOS, and I just like, this should not be infested with any software that I just don't like. So I just I just did a lot of forensics on it, and I just installed my own version of Windows because it came with a Windows that was pre-installed. Yeah, it's just my version of Windows. Everything was wiped and formatted and stuff. Of course, there's a small chance that that some backdoor may be present. So I'm not using it for anything. How do you say it? I'm not using the system for anything remotely. How do you say it? It has very limited access to my network. It has no access to my files. Basically, it is its own little bubble. Yeah, and I got it because I really was very curious about one of these small form factor PCs from the AMD Ryzen camp. So and I did post some of my my things on the unit on Twitter and on Facebook, but I don't think I'm very keen on making a video on it because that would actually complicate things. Because how would it not be an influenced product placement or anything like that? And if I would make a video, I would probably just want to make a video on it as a generic machine, you know, like this is a mini PC from brand X, and this is these are the specs, and this is what I think of it. That would probably be the only way I make a video on it, you know, like this is super bland, you know, it's like items thrown together. But the thing is, what makes it complicated is that this t-bao, if you look at product reviews of their units, then there's actually quite a few videos on YouTube with about laptops and about other of their items, where the reviewers actually had issues with the products, and I actually had issues with the product because I mean, it comes in a very nice box and it looks great, but when I took this out of the box, I heard a rattle, and the rattle sounded like a loose screw. Now, I did not intend on opening up the unit because the hard drive in it is big enough. You have a lot of USB ports. You know, there was no need for me to get into the unit. I just wanted to turn it on and just, you know. But there was a rattle in it, so I had to open up the unit, and it turned out to be one of the motherboard screws. There's the motherboard is screwed in at 4 corners, and one of the screws was just loose, rattling in there. And I tried to screw it back, but I couldn't because there was no thread for the screw to catch. So it does seem to be a design flaw. So, I mean, if the people making this in the factory, putting this together, are forced to put some screws in, and I mean, I can imagine that someone would just like throw in a screw, but pretty weird. I've seen a review of this system done by an Australian living in Spain, and he was actually very enthusiastic about it, and he thinks this is a great system, and he's more, how do you say it, enthusiastic about it than I am, because I you know, for what it is, for how it's built, I mean, loose screw. What also was the problem is the power supply, the laptop power supply that it came with. You could actually indicate, if I could indicate that I want a European plug on it. It's a switching power supply, 3.42 amps, center pin positive or something like that, not sure, but yeah, center pin positive. But that was dead. When I plugged it in, the little pilot light on the unit would not come on, and if I connected the little system on it, it was just dead. So dead power supply, loose screw, not the experience that I want to recommend to others. And if you look at, I mean, there's this Australian in Spain that actually does a lot of tech reviews, and he's very enthusiastic about. He does a lot of Chinese low-powered laptops, you know, like the netbooks and stuff, and he's usually quite enthusiastic about it. But there's also a review about a guy who doesn't have a lot of subscribers, and he might actually have made a video in a similar vein that they asked of me, because he only had like 2 subscribers and not a real channel. But for him, one of the sim slots, there's 2 sim slots in it, the SODIMM slots, and in his system only one sim would work, and if he would combine the 2, it wouldn't work. So that says something about the memory controller of the chip or the sim sockets or something like that. And there's not many videos on this unit online, and it's quite interesting. It's a Vega 8 Radeon graphics system. It's a Ryzen 5 2500U. It has 8 threads, 4 cores, base clock, blah blah blah. It turbos up to 3.6 gigahertz, so that's actually a very, very nice machine. And to get that for free, yeah. I mean, if the only thing is that I have to give some feedback, regardless of my of having to produce any video, yeah. I say yeah. I mean, I would be foolish not to. Free swag is cool. But me actually making a video on it, what do you guys think? I mean, I did make some videos about some small form factor PCs in the past. I could, but should I? You know what also makes me steer clear from reviews like this is that I actually do not want to make a crappy, bad, complaining review about things. I did tell them that I loved the packaging. It's very professionally done. And it has instructions that are actually very well done. Multi-language, targeted at a European audience as well. Clear screenshots and stuff. So yeah, the fact that it came with a screw rattling in the unit and with an unworking power supply are, of course, quality control issues. I mean, in such a state, this should not have left the factory. And the thing is, if you look at it, there's no quality control stickers on it anywhere. Anywhere. I mean, most of these systems units, most of these systems, they do have some sort of quality control signals. You know, there's small stickers, there's little pieces of paper stuck somewhere, and there's little check mark and stuff. There's none. There's really none. And I think that's their big problem. I said, well, you know, I had to take it apart because, yeah, you can't turn it on if some metallic component is loose around, rattling inside, because it would short out. And the build quality. I mean, this is brushed aluminum, metal. This is plastic, and below there's plastic, but it's really nicely done. It's very similar to the B-Link units, that the motherboard is actually upside down. On top is this is a fan that's basically a fan that you also see in these gaming laptops. It's a very good, somewhat loud cooling solution, which of course this product does need. And what I also didn't like is, and the tech reviewer, the Australian tech reviewer located in Spain, he talks about an unlocked BIOS, but the BIOS isn't unlocked at all. So he gives misinformation, and they talk about 2060 megahertz DDR4 memory, where when in reality the total amount of megahertz that the system runs at is indicated as 1200 megahertz. So basically something that the AMD FX 8350, the bulldozer like DDR3 memory speeds. So you cannot change the voltages or any of the settings in the memory, so it's not unlocked. This unit would actually have been a great overclocker, I think, but you can't, so it's not unlocked. And for some, I think if you look it up and you see how it's advertised, and it is the MN25 mini PC, the t-bao MN25 mini PC. If you look it up, and then you see all sorts of it's sold at quite a few places, but I guess most of them are Asian based. So yeah, it's should I make a video? Do you want me to make a video? I'm actually quite conflicted. I think because of Kevin's video and about the way he thinks about whether or not he should, and it actually made me more conscious about whether or not I should. Very interesting question. So yeah, in what way, shape, or form should I make the video? So in future, I think I'll steer clear of any agreements, with stores, companies, anything concerning my channel. I want to be fresh and objective. Yeah, and perhaps Lon Seidman, he does clearly indicate what he did buy with his own funds, like Kevin does, and what he got as a sponsor, like a donation, or the products that he had to return. And actually, quite a few of the products that I reviewed on my channel, I had to return, so I couldn't get to keep them. Sometimes I could, but most of the time it was just my own funds, or it was just something I got on loan. So, and this system I got to keep for filling in a questionnaire, and quite an elaborate questionnaire. But I made sure they send it to a post box. They sent it to a post box, and so they don't know my home address, and yeah, that kind of stuff. So I received a gift. Is it possible for me to make a video about it? I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, complex, Kevin. Yeah, I hope my ponderings on this are of any good to you. I hope the questions that I use to make things clear for me, I just hope are of any help to you. I think I'm in control of my personal YouTube channel, and I want to be able to do and say the things that I want to do, community guidelines and everything, concerning all that, but I want to be in control, and I don't want to make any concessions. And if for some reason things get limited, I will get very frustrated, and I don't want to be frustrated, so I steer clear of that. And I think for me, doing the Patreon thing as, that's something else. Doing the Patreon thing as something to support my channel is something that I would just say no to. I just don't want to be feeling obligated to make any content or do anything because people paid me for something. And I am a sponsor of some Patreons, but they provide a service and I use that service. It's not because of friendship or interaction. It's like when they provide something that is of interest to me, then I might sponsor them. But if I for some reason want to be friendly with people and want to interact, I would just never ever do that on Patreon as a client, a Patreon, or as a content producer. I think that's also tainted, but that's me. Yeah. So, if you're interested in a little Ryzen PC that I got from a company that, just send it to me. I'm very curious what you guys think of that and if I should make a video and in what shape or form. I mean, I would love to make a video on it, ETA Prime style. He does emulation, he does gaming videos with these small form factor PCs. I comment on his videos quite a bit, so it might actually be through him or through some others. I'm not sure if he actually did a video on this particular system. I think he did a video on a system that is actually more capable, another generation. But yeah, I'm quite interested in Ryzen and gaming and how it performs and stuff. But I'm not sure if you guys are. So, nice Waffle. So this actually is my Thursday evening Waffle. So it's no Friday Waffle. That's Maymeister's. And he probably will be making a Friday. Oh, if anything, Maymeister Alan, he did a sponsor video. He did a charity video where he picked 3 local charities and he was playing games, streaming for 12 hours. UK Panther UK was the moderator and he kept things in check technically. And it took place on Sunday, I believe, last Sunday, and I just had a blast. I actually was on there an hour in, and we talked a bit, and it was really fun. And I think perhaps doing something like that, being in each other's channel, talking, that's something I would actually be interested in, perhaps doing a bit more, because that actually, how do you say that? That brings back the sense of community again, that YouTube really takes pride in, erasing. It seems to want to be a stream. Yeah, how do you say that? I totally draw a blank here. Music streaming service, blah. Music streaming service X, but then for videos, and they want people to pay for the service because they've put so many ads on videos. You really have to opt out, because otherwise you'll be it would just be like watching American TV. And from a European perspective, American TV is just sucks. Not the content, that's great, but the way that the commercials actually are interspliced. And if you really want to see how fragmented and how empty that can make the content, then you should actually watch Disney documentaries on the Disney Channel. I'm actually quite interested in history. Oh, this is all going all over the place, but who cares? There's Elise and I. We are quite interested in history, and there's this documentary that I think. Well, I mean, I'm interested in it. It's about the Mayan culture, the Mayans, and how they discovered new with lidar. They discovered a ton of artifacts and ancient cities and stuff, and but these documentaries, they last for about 20 to 45 minutes, and the actual content in them may boil down to 7 minutes, because it's like repeated all over, and you see fades, and it's like, yeah, that is what happens to content when the ratio of commercials is just too high to have the content be enjoyable. Because of course Disney Plus is a paid service, so the content is stripped of commercials, but it's like 10 to 15 minutes of clip, then a fade, and then it's like a repeat of basically that same 50 minutes with some small things added into there. Then it's another fade, and then it's like, and the second episode basically is the first episode with a little bit of extra thrown in. But actually, you've seen that in the intro leader. You've actually seen all the topics that are talked about in the subsequent episodes. So you basically have seen snippets of things, so you actually know what's coming. And then it's like a repeat with a fade, a repeat with a fade, a repeat with a fade. It's just insane. It's just insane. I mean, that's not how any content should be. But yeah, so yeah, that's just, well, insane. I'm all over the place. Oh, I was talking about Alan and his sponsor. I had a blast, and hanging out was a blast. I was in the chat most of the day, most of the 12 hours, and wow, I think he ended up picking up close to 900 pounds, which is just awesome. An amazing achievement, and very cool of the community to actually cough that all up. And he picked some very nice charities, and yeah, I really felt a sense of community, and it was fun. And I hope, I'm not the biggest fan of just streams, but streams like that, streams with a topic, streams with, yeah, I like as well. So I'm like very conflicted about doing streams, about partaking, but hanging out with other YouTubers, making videos together, that's something that's fun. Because it's fun to share, and it's fun to interact, and it brings back a bit of the community. And I think streaming also allows people who do not necessarily produce a ton of content to be active. I've met a few people in the comment section in Alan's videos, and some of them I've not been subscribed to. Some of them don't have any active content, active channels, but I got to know them, which is fun. And yeah, that's just fun. Okay, 48 minutes. It's just a single shot upload made on my phone. I hope my fan is not wreaking havoc, making the audio crazy. Well, we'll see. At least there's no real crazy flashes or psychedelic effects going on, because of all sorts of crazy YouTube things messing up. But yeah, this is just a chat. My Thursday evening waffle, and a response video to Kevin's. And I did write up a lot of the things that I talk about in his video. I'll put the link to his video down below in the hoo-ha bar, and up top there will be this little eye, and if you click that, well, I mean, you could actually end up watching this video long after YouTube has completely stripped that out. It's Google after all, but this I could not be there, might not be there, but I'll also put a link down below in the UHub bar, and also over here, as long as it's still functioning, where you can click on the eye, and it'll bring you to Kevin's video, because it's actually quite interesting, an interesting topic where he asks advice, and I actually ask the same advice, and I offered some advice, and I think it's fun. I mean, community questions, Lombo's post 1975, and here I go, 50 minutes, but what I love about Lombo's post 1975 is that he puts up a lot of community questions, discussion points, and that actually enhances the community. Q&A, yeah, I could do a Q&A video. I mean, I could do like my Mainmeister, have a Q&A and a weekly waffle, but that would make that might turn it into a job. But I might be willing to try it out, not to compete with Mainmeister Alan, but I'm quite interested in if people have any questions for me. So if you do have a question, put it down below in the comments, and if there's questions that I can answer, I might do a follow-up video. And of course, I mean, if you have some suggestions and comments on this topic, about receiving goods, how that could influence your channel, sponsorships and stuff. Should people always aspire to go pro? Should people be, how do you say that, enthused about becoming professional YouTubers? But sure. Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, 51 minutes, 52 minutes. Yeah, I think it's high time that I stop waffling. I think I'm a bit hungry. We may actually need to prepare some food and just hang out and chill, because it has been a good week, but also a very tiring week. And yeah. Anyways, Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon. And do check out Kevin's video, and if you're not subscribed to Kevin, I mean, his channel is so eclectic, there's bound to be something in it for you. I mean, reproducing whiskey bottles that are found in his favorite movie. Who has a Star Trek captain's chair? Kevin does. Yeah, he's all over the place, but it's so many things that I just absolutely love. I always think it's very fun if he uploads a video, and yeah, just because it's eclectic, it's just random. It can really be anything, and that's and it's always something that he likes to share, that he is genuinely interested in. And the same goes with Mainmeister. Alan, he is very keen on answering your questions, but he also is very interested in the interaction, and he really is a genuine article. And I think a lot of YouTubers that are just themselves, and they're just there instead of something produced. Oh, I don't want to gripe on people who make highly, I don't want to gripe on the people that do use Patreon and do have high production values, because that's cool as well. There's a ton of people who make great documentaries, who make great content, who do a lot of great interaction. I mean, a guy like Perifractic, for example, I think he does the Patreon thing well. And I think his videos, even if you're not a patron, are entertaining enough and interactive enough to but his videos are high production value, and he comes up with a ton of very original ideas. And Retro Man Cave, absolutely love that channel. Um, but he does that as a job, and it's amazing. I mean, I love it, and he still finds time to interact. But of course, if you become very big, then the interaction with your viewership becomes more and more complicated, because you get many more comments and stuff. So I guess in a way, bigger channels may actually use Patreon to some sort to filter out the people that are really interested and want to pay money, and you basically recreate that same small channel feeling with more how do you say that, more interaction on a smaller scale. But yeah, anyways, I could go on forever, and I'm not. Oh, yeah, another thing. um, I was aware of that musician, um, because his appearance is actually quite there. Leland Sklar, he's a bass player, a guitar bass player, and I think he's in his 70s, and he's one of these many artists that have started a YouTube channel or have started to produce content on their channels just because they want to share. And it's really fun because quite a few of those artists, they basically are, well, they're famous or somewhat famous, or famous, but they make their own channel, and they they make the same mistakes and have the same low production values as what we started out with, and they grow, and it's very funny because I think Lee Sklar, he started making videos early this year, and for him it's an outlet. He shares the projects that he was involved with. He shares stories, and the man has an incredible memory. He shares stories um, about the musicians he's played with, and the thing is, it's really scary because and it's like, if you know Asterix and Obelix, the comic, there's the village druid. That's Leland Sklar. Long white beard, bald head, like flowing hair like that, and he's just a very, very articulate, very nuanced, well-spoken individual, and he's been in just about any good album. I mean, pick a good album from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the noughties, and he actually might be playing bass on it. Pick a TV show from the 90s, or or a movie. He's been involved. That's how crazy his work is. And there's a ton of bass players from various bands that are and various bands that are actually making videos, and it's fun. I mean, I've been watching a ton of music videos and freshly made music videos by the artists themselves that make their own videos. That's actually very interesting. So yeah, that's it. Almost an hour. I'll stop before it's an hour, because if you do cross the hour mark, something very weird might trigger the algorithm. So 45 seconds in, not an hour yet. It's 59 minutes, 21, 23, 24 seconds. I'm gonna sign off.